Can I get that to work?
Good job.
Hey, little one. Watch out, little guys. It is the middle of August, and you can tell we're sweating, and it's 7 a.m. So we had a lot of things that we got done this morning. Obviously, the biggest thing I guess that we didn't talk about last week is we have our big pigs on the farm, right?
Yes, we do, yep.
So we got those from a few local breeders here, mainly in the southeast part of Phoenix, right?
Mainly?
Okay, pretty much only. We spent the last 2 weekends collecting those pigs from multiple breeders down Maricopa, Casa Grande, kind of that area. So it was that kind of year, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they look fantastic, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are a great group of pigs. We have a lot of different breeds in there and crosses of different breeds. One of them that we're trying for the first time is a Gloucester? Old Spot. We'll just call it old GOS.
Yeah.
Old Spot. But we have an Old Spot that's crossed with a Mangalitsa. We've got several of those that look fantastic. So we'll be raising those over the next several months here for folks. We have how many again this year?
20.
20 again. We said we weren't going to do more than 12 to 15, and here we are with 20.
3 years in a row.
Yeah, so it's time for enclosure expansion for sure.
Yeah.
So you actually had a little bit of a project that you did this week. What'd you do?
The compost bin where I was putting all of the gathered chicken, duck, and turkey manure was overflowing, and so I had to kind of shift everything around. So we had one bin that had finished compost, still needed sifting, so I sifted that all out to get it out of a bin. So then I could shift the finished chicken manure to that bin and shift the current chicken manure to the bigger bin. So I just shifted everything around.
A lot of shifting.
Yeah.
But you also did a little sifting. A little shifting and sifting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so I sifted all the that compost just to get kind of the big stuff, because we have a bunch of like peach pits in there and big sticks and stuff. So getting at least the big stuff out of there.
So we'll be using that as compost, obviously, because it is, but in the beds. And it's completely finished. In fact, it looks exactly like dirt. I think one of the things that I really want to encourage everybody with out there is we do not try to figure out ratios and all this other rigmarole when it comes to our compost. We just put greens and browns together until we get something that looks like that. So it's not very scientific, but we had things growing in it. So yeah, we know that it's going to be fine. We've used some of the unsifted compost. If you guys remember, we actually built or expanded the Colombian giant bed. So that will be at the bottom to help turn those wood chips into amazing soil. One more thing. If you guys haven't joined us yet on the Desert Farmer podcast, we do that every Saturday at 2 o'clock. And that is where we've been doing some taste testing. Okay, so we have two different jujubes. These, if you guys can see them, the one on this side probably should be your right, so my left. That is an Empress G or Empress Gee, G-E-E. That is that guy there. They're both round. And then this is a Shanxi or Shaanxi Li jujube. Try this close to the camera, you guys can hear it. A little ASMR. So we tried a couple of the jujubes last week and they were pretty good. So I had the Shanxi or Shaanxi Li for the first time. You know, one of the things we harvested this morning is figs, and we had, for the first time, I think, an actual ripe green Greek fig. Harvested 4 of those. They're truly green. They don't turn yellow, it looks like. They look to be completely ripe because I saw some that the birds had gotten to. I think we should try that tonight. Okay. Or this afternoon, however you want to look at it.
But if you see this video, this is a week later, so you missed it.
Yeah, so maybe go back to last week's Desert Farmer podcast. I think it's episode 28. There you go. Hey, what's up, Theo? Thanks for... Hey, buddy. Can I help? Hi. Hi, bud. Okay. So we're back here with our 3 pomegranate trees. We actually have 4. There's one in the turkey enclosure. But if you guys remember, this past winter, we showed you the different types of pruning methods we were going to use on these trees. If you guys remember the first tree that we have here, we wanted to train this one more like a traditional tree with a solid trunk. And I had mentioned that my goal was to make sure that I kept the bottom of this clear, just so we got all the growth concentrated in the top of the tree. And as you can see, it's doing really well. I like the tree, I think it looks really good, but let's take a look at the other 2 pruning styles and how the tree looks today. This tree, if you remember, we actually pruned it to just more of just a natural shape. They grow multiple trunks, and so we basically left, for the most part, all of those trunks in there, cleaned the base up a little bit, and it's more of like a fountain. Now, today, you can see what this one looks like. And then our third type of tree, this one, if you recall, we actually had it pruned down to a few, basically a multi-trunk. So we had a handful of larger trunks. We cleaned everything else out of the middle, cleaned up the sides, and now here we are, really middle of the growing season, and it's what this one looks like. Now, one other thing about this particular tree, if you guys remember, we had a microburst come through the farm a couple of years ago, completely ripped this tree out of the ground, threw it a good, I don't know, a couple hundred feet behind where the camera is now on top of the wood chip pile. So this has come roaring back in a couple of years. One last thing, when you're looking at these 3 trees, you might ask, where's all the fruit? Well, every one of these trees was completely loaded with fruit, and as usual, our mice, rats, and ground squirrels completely destroyed all of them. So at this point, they're all sitting in the compost. However, one of the things that's wonderful about these pomegranate trees is all of them have flowers on them already for that fall fruit set, which is a little bit smaller, but we found is a much darker fruit. So all these trees look really good. They're doing fantastic. Obviously, as it goes a little bit further, they'll widen out a bit, and hopefully we'll get some fruit once we figure out our varmint problem. But you can see, no matter which way you prune these trees, number one, you're gonna get plenty of production, and number two, they're just gonna turn into beautiful trees. I would say probably my favorite is this one right here, the multi-trunk, because you can see it's filled in tremendously, and it's a beautiful tree. Now, the natural one looks really good as well. I think eventually you're gonna have to start pruning some of the middle out just because you're gonna get a lot of crossing branches. I think the one that I probably wouldn't do personally is the traditional tree looking one. You know, a lot of times these have been used as hedgerows and windbreaks, and obviously all that foliage on the bottom is part of that. Also, all your production, you have all that production that'll be throughout the tree. They produce everywhere on the tree. So a bush style like this is just gonna give you more production. But hey, if you want a traditional looking tree, pomegranate trees will still fit the bill. It is time to go in. It's 10 minutes to 8, it's 90 degrees, and there's a little bit of humidity, so it's just not comfortable. One of the things about our turkeys, we let them roam a bit, right? What's great is we let them roam for a few hours, and then we have to put them away because they will tear things up. Not as bad as the chickens, but I need to get them put away for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of poultry, the Thanksgiving turkeys look fantastic.
They're doing
right?
really good, yeah.
They're doing great. They're starting to fly already after 2 weeks, and they're up on a roost bar. You can see just how fast those double-breasted turkeys grow.
Oh my goodness.
It's amazing how quick they grow. So just want to thank you for joining us today. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. We cover a lot of things here on this newly established functioning farm, and we'll love to see you on a regular basis. If you have any questions or comments, those go in the
comment section down below.
And our Amazon shop, I'll leave a link down in the description. That's a free, painless way to help support the channel. If you start with the link down below, it doesn't matter what you buy, you help to support us here. So just want to thank you for joining us today and remind you, if we can farm on the edge of nowhere,
So can you.
Hi Cleo, she came right up.
Hey, pretty girl. You need attention.
He really does need attention right now. Okay, buddy. Oh. Oh, hey, buddy. It's great. Let me get back to work now. Nope. You good? We're done?
Sure.
I'm just happy that you're posting stuff on Facebook and Instagram. It's fantastic. Farms do that, you know. It's okay.